Hi guys, welcome to this new class. Today we are going to learn about modifying comparisons with words like much, a lot, a bit, plus a comparative adjective. Do you know how to use phrases like much shorter than, almost as fit as, and exactly the same as? Okay, look at these examples to see how comparisons can be modified. He's much shorter than his brother. We're making reference to the picture that is right here. Good quality socks are almost as important as your running shoes. Our hotel room was exactly the same as the photos showed. There are several different ways to compare things in English. We can also modify comparisons to show big or small differences. We can use comparative and superlative adjectives to compare different things. We can say Max is taller than Judy, and here we are using a comparative adjective. Or we can say Max is the tallest person in the classroom, and here we are using the superlative adjective. We also can use as, adjective as, to say that two things are the same, or not as, adjective as, to say that one thing is less than the other. For example, her hair is as long as mine. They are the same long. There is no difference between her hair and mine. On the other side, if we say it's not as sunny as yesterday, we're comparing today and yesterday, and that there's a difference, that one is less sunny than the other. We can also use expressions like different from, similar to, and the same as in these examples. England is different from the United Kingdom. His car is similar to mine. The results from the first test are the same as the results from the second. In this first sentence, England is different from, this phrase is used to show difference between England and the United Kingdom. In the second one, his car is similar to mine. We use similar to show similarity, or that they are similar, both cars. And in the third one, the results from the first test are the same as the results from the second. This phrase, the same as, is used to show that they are the same thing. They are equal, the results, between the first test and the second. We can use much, so much, a lot, even, or far with comparative adjectives. For example, sales in July were a lot higher than sales in June. We're comparing sales in July and sales in June, and we're saying that in July were a lot higher to show a big difference between them and to show that one was more than the other. He was far less experienced than the other applicant. We can use nowhere near with as adjective as to show difference between two things, two objects, or two people, or two situations. The interview was nowhere near as difficult as the written exam. We're saying this to show that there was a difference between the difficulty of the interview and the written exam. Saying that the interview was less difficult than the written exam. We can also use very, really, completely, or totally with different from. As in this example, they may be twins, but they are completely different from each other. We use the word completely with different to show a big difference between the two objects, people, or situations that we are talking about. In this case, the twins. We can use slightly, a little, a bit, a little bit, or not much with comparative adjectives to show a small difference between two things, two people, or two situations. For example, the number of registrations has been slightly lower than we expected. That means that there is a small difference between the number of registrations, the real number of registrations, and the number that we expected. Slightly means a little different. Houses in my city are not much more expensive than flats. Here, we also show a small difference between the price of houses and flats. We can use almost, nearly, not quite, roughly, more or less, or about with as, adjective as, and the same as to show a small difference between objects, people, or situations. For example, she's almost as old as I am. There is a small difference between her age and my age. The figures for May are more or less the same as the figures for June. We can use exactly the same as or just as, adjective as, to emphasize that there is no difference. My grandma's cake still tastes exactly the same as when I was a child. There is no difference between the taste of the cake now, in the present, and when I was a child. There is no difference. That's why we use exactly the same as. A new phone can be just as expensive as a new computer these days. We are saying that there is no difference in the price between buying a cell phone or a new phone and buying a computer these days. Thank you very much, guys, for paying attention. I hope you liked the class, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.